Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Devin,
What's up, Kev?
let's just say a hypothetical here for you.
Okay.
You're a pizza delivery guy.
Right.
You bring a pizza to somebody who ordered it. And shortly after they pay you, they shoot at you repeatedly from inside their house. Do you call the cops?
Well, how was the tip?
Oh, it was terrible. It was like 12 cents.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to cops.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Welcome to another episode of I Ruined My Childhood. And this holiday season, we are, in fact, revisiting the gruesome holiday classic from 1990, Home Alone.
Kevin!
It's as if Catherine O'Hara is shouting my name from like 100 yards away. That's
Lucky.
what that just sounded like. Yeah, that was the soundtrack to my elementary school years right there. I don't know. Did you get much of that growing up? I mean, your name is Devin. So
only when I was in trouble. Only, exclusively. Still to this day. Devin.
So it was your mom just shouting that could be a coincidence though.
Yeah,
Just
not
your mom.
just my
shouting
mom. Yeah.
Devin at you. Anyway, so speaking of the name, in doing research for this movie, I found that in the early mid 90s, European countries saw a massive spike in the name Kevin for babies. It was number one in France at one point, I think. And it was all because of this movie. It's like, we don't have to say anything more on that. It's just something crazy.
Oddly enough, no kids named Macaulay.
Yeah, well, is that really surprising? I mean,
I didn't remember how much of a dum-dum Kevin was before he faced off with the wet bandits. You know what I mean?
What the French call les incompetents.
yeah, before his family leaves, he's I don't know. He's definitely not the genius that he becomes.
Yeah.
Like this mastermind, Archimedes setting up all of these different traps and devices.
Nah, he can't even pack a suitcase, man. But
he can't pack a suitcase, and everybody knows it.
Les incompetents.
Everybody. Look what you did, you little jerk. Can't even pack a suitcase. Uncle Frank hated him.
And
I don't know why.
Maybe the worst human in this movie. There is attempted child murder in this film, and Uncle Frank, maybe the worst person.
Terrible. Just terrible.
A freeloader who hates children. That's my takeaway of Uncle Frank. But
By the way, folks, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
do it.
Send your hate mail to Kevin.
I didn't get quite the amount of hate mail I was hoping for after last video. I guess I mean, a couple of strongly worded letters. Nothing really. I wasn't feeling the hate. Come on, post those hateful comments, folks. Come on, upvote and hate. Like, you can upvote the effort, but hate the words. Share with everybody. Say, I can't believe how terrible this is. How offensive. I remember basically everything in this film, especially the first 15 minutes, up until they realized they forgot Kevin, almost word for word. The first time watching it now, one of the biggest takeaways I had from it, as opposed to when I was a kid, is this was really the first time I saw Kevin and his older brother, especially as kids. Every time I watched this when I was younger, Buzz always looked like that older brother of my friend, or when I go to some sort of family gathering, or over one of my parents' friends' houses or something, and they have an older son, and that was always Buzz to me. And this time I was like, oh no, he's just a snotty, chubby kid. He's exactly what a bully looked like.
Ultimate older brother bully archetype, Buzz. Him, Spike from Toy Story, Spike from Little Giants.
Yeah.
I think it's the law that if you're a bully in the movie in the 90s, you have to have a pet tarantula.
Yeah.
Pour one out though for his poor girlfriend.
Oh my God. That actress, can you imagine going out for that part and then getting it?
Casting call for a hideous teenager.
There's a lot of stuff in this movie that I want to touch on. The whole forgetting Kevin chain of events, the sequence of events that leads to Kevin being left home alone, almost executed flawlessly.
Almost? What they miss?
Well, let's go through it. And I will say, like, this is the sort of thing as a writer, like these sort of things when they come together are the most fun things to write. These like kind of Rube Goldbergian sequences that are very complicated, but everything comes together beautifully to have this conclusion. It all starts with he is forced to sleep in the attic by himself.
Because Fuller was to the bed, the very young Kieran Culkin of Succession and Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yep. And the first episode of season 2 of Fargo, really good season of television. Strongly recommend. And then there's a storm outside the night before, and then knocks out the power. So no one wakes up on time. So they're all in a rush, which that right there, it's like you have a household of 20 people and no one gets up early. No one just wakes up. But fine. A shuttle takes them to the airport, which is low key, like the master stroke of the whole thing. Cause rewatching it, I had forgotten that was kind of what happened. And I was thinking to myself, like, wait a second, how would he not just see that they've left already? And because they left their cars there, he was like, they left the cars. They couldn't have already gone to the airport. So that I thought was good.
That John Hughes, man, he thought of everything. But
almost everything. Because there's still that moment of the head count at the van. They're counting off the kids to make sure everybody is there before they leave. And some random kid, how do they solve this problem of Macaulay Culkin as Kevin McAllister not being there? Some random kid who looks a tiny bit like him just shows up, starts talking to the shuttle service people, starts going through their luggage. And it's like, even as a child watching this, I was like, who is this kid? Like, why is he there? Oh, cool. He's got a yo-yo. Can I have a yo-yo? It's like watching this as an adult, I had all of the same questions.
In the industry, they call that a plot kid.
Yeah. A Deus Ex Machina kid. Yes.
There you go. They just got somebody off the street. It's like, hey kid, want to make $5? Read all these questions from the script and then get out of here. And that's what they did. It was pretty thin.
Yeah.
That a neighbor in that neighborhood would just show up right at that moment and then leave right after. You know what I'm saying? Going through their luggage, it's weird.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It is fine.
It took a while to get there. It's great. It's fine. Whatever. I want to talk about the Wet Bandits.
Oh, yes, please.
The best part of the movie? Yes, no?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, without question, the funniest part. I loved Marv's scream when the tarantula crawled on him as a kid, and watching it the other night, it was still funny. Still works.
Still funny. Probably not as funny from their point of view.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Marv and Harry both sustained fatal injuries about half a dozen times each in this movie.
If you take out the John Williams score.
Great, by the way.
Amazing. If you take out the fact that it's on Christmas and you just focus on their point of view, this is a horror film. Trying to rob this house. This is their last job. And then this little kid is setting up all these traps. It's terrifying. In the middle of the night too. Jesus. And
that little diabolical smile Culkin has.
Yeah.
You know what's going on behind those eyes.
What bandit?
Blackness.
Blackness.
Actually, Corridor Crew, the popular YouTube channel, just a little bit more popular than ours. I'll say it's like slightly more successful thus far. They did like a year or two ago, they did a gruesome special effects version of that whole sequence. It's really good. We'll link it in the bio of this, or maybe put a link up. It's not too difficult somewhere.
Anyway,
yeah.
What bandits? Good or bad at their job?
Some good They do some things good. There's definitely a strong Pinky in the Brain vibe between Harry and Marv.
And that they're both mice.
Yes, exactly. They're both large rodents, but also one of them's really smart and has grandiose images of himself. He's also very short, and the other one's tall and dumb.
Classic pairing. Classic.
Yeah. Animaniacs now streaming on Hulu, folks.
We'll put the link below. Or Jack.
But yeah, Harry, pretty clever with the cop bit at the beginning. And although it's like kind of a little bit of a loose end, like you go to every person's house right before you rob them as dressed up as a cop and you have a gold tooth. It's like, I think they're going to mention that to the police. It's like, didn't you come here right before I got robbed? It's like, no. Well, this guy who's dressed up as a cop who had a gold tooth. Oh, really?
But Marv, though, this guy is like a giant mouse in a china shop. The way he robs houses, bro. He's like he's moving all these valuable items into a laundry bag with a crowbar. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's moving what's left of him. I mean, I understand the guy's supposed to be rough and not care about other people's property, but he's got to resell that stuff. He's not even like looking.
Yeah. No, it's just very it's possible that he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Having fun with his old pal, Harry.
So meanwhile, Kevin is at home alone. He's going shopping. He's putting on aftershave. He's eating ice cream. He's watching rubbish.
What do you mean?
Guys, I'm eating junk and watching rubbish. You better come out and stop me.
Or this movie made me realize that you can grocery shop whenever you want if you have money. There's no age limit on there. You know, the kid's 8 years old. It's like it's not illegal to buy orange juice.
He's 8 years old, but his vibe is younger, I think, too. Like he feels like he's more like 6, but he's 8. Yeah.
He's so small. Yeah.
And that is something that, like, if anybody stopped to talk to Kevin for like 30 seconds and been like, where's your parents? And blah, blah, blah. It's like, he's not going to be able to fool everybody. Like my point is like, this all could have been solved with a phone call. I mean, I know that once they got to Paris, they tried calling their neighbors. They tried calling the cops. The cops were idiots, but like, there's gotta be somebody. It's like, it doesn't need your best friend. Doesn't need to be the person who lives right next door. It's like, call a coworker, call Kevin's 3rd grade teacher. Like there is people who can pick him up like for 2 days.
Everyone on the block is away on vacation. Come on. That's a little unrealistic.
Well, I mean, we know everyone's not on the block because there's the creepy old man.
The creepy old man.
You're telling me the creepy old man like didn't pass off his contact information to them at some point? Come on.
Bro, what was up? This is just me, but what was up with his hand? Like he walks into the drugstore with a bloody bandage, says nothing to no one. He just puts his bloody ass hand on the cash register and no one says or does anything.
Yeah. Well, I think that he's known as the creepy old man in the neighborhood and people just understand. It's like, well, it comes with a job. It's a hazardous job. You're going to get cuts.
And shoveling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being creepy, you're scaring people, catching them off guard. Maybe they swing at you, something. They don't like being surprised. You're going to get cuts. You're going to get bruises, lacerations, and they respect that about him because he doesn't take any days off. He is working on Christmas Eve on those streets being creepy.
I guess so.
Going into people's houses, following people into people's houses, hitting them in the face with a shovel. He's doing it.
Well, listeners, if you have a creepy old man in your neighborhood, say hi and thank them for doing their job. Essential.
So this movie is filled with a lot of moments that I really like. It got me right in the nostalgia bones multiple times. You had the sassy cashier question him the coupons and the little toy soldiers. You had the Santa who gave him the Tic Tacs.
So nice.
But let's get to the part of the movie that everybody wants to hear about, the House of Horrors.
Often imitated, rarely replicated.
Yeah. One of the greatest cinematic achievements in children's films, from the second The Carol of the Bell starts right up until that delicious macaroni and cheese dinner dings in the microwave.
You keep going on about the mac and cheese, man.
Like, it looks so good.
I know.
He didn't get one bite of it. He did. That was one of my favorite meals as a child. And he didn't even get one bite.
I've been meaning to talk to you about this. These parallels between you and Kevin. Like,
Yeah.
he had so many siblings. You had 5 siblings. He
Mm-hmm.
mac and cheese. You like mac and cheese. He watches old movies. You watch Swamp Fox, which was a thing apparently.
Well, back in that was all that was on. Yeah. His name is McAllister. It was McLean.
Oh yeah.
A lot of parallels. So I have 2 questions for you, Devin, about
So-
this house of pain that Kevin constructed. Who do you think had it worse of Marv and Harry, and do you think was the best trap? What was your favorite trap?
I mean, subjectively, Marv, because I have stepped on an ornament in my life, and that just it hurts so much, especially when you're barefoot. But honestly, the blowtorch, that's just that's medieval. That's next level. It burnt his scalp off, man.
Yeah, for me, the best trap I think was the tar and the nail. Similar to your ornament thing, it's just seeing a nail go into a barefoot is like the most viscerally upsetting trap in this whole movie. It's just like that is the reaction. But I agree. I think that overall Harry had it worse because the blowtorch trap, first of all, a feat of engineering for any 6-year-old to have set up.
He's strong.
But like easily the most painful, most damaging, like that could kill a person.
That should have lit his ass on fire. Also,
yeah.
I'm just realizing only it is.
Yeah. And also Harry had to endure a straight shot, probably breaking, I'd say, at least 3 ribs with that crowbar from his own good buddy, like E2 Brute, E2 Marv.
So sad. Marv, what are you doing? Yeah. I can't argue, bro. I'm not gonna argue. But Kevin does make his escape, and the villains, they get their moment where they nearly bite his fingers off.
Yeah. It's like it gets pretty dark for a second there. It's all fun and games until a child is actually at risk of getting his fingers bit off. The whole time, like that whole sequence, once again, this was another thing where it's like it didn't really make sense to me as a kid. Like, why are you calling the cops to the neighbor's house and then you're trying to lure them over there? It all felt needlessly complicated. But then I realized, like, he doesn't want the cops showing up to his house and seeing what he's done.
Yeah, the cops. His mom would have gotten home, and the cops are there. And then Kevin's in a straitjacket. It's like, do you know there's a blowtorch in your house? And then they're calling Child Protective Services, and now he's in the foster system.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They would have went to the front door and then been like, what the hell is this thing on the doorknob? He fashioned this thing. What was that thing? If you know what that thing was, write in the comments that heated up the doorknob. What is that for? Other than heating up doorknobs.
Please tell us. It's been 30 years. We still don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of the mom, she was desperate, like her desperate race home, maybe held up the least for me as far as something that I totally bought as a kid and then saw it as an adult. And I'm like, this wouldn't be that difficult.
It's the holidays, man. You know, travel is hard.
But even so, like even in 1990, like you're telling me in a major Western city like Paris, she can't find one flight to like Chicago or near Chicago, especially when she's willing to pay for somebody's first class ticket and give them $500 and give them a bunch of jewelry. It's like, it's not like in 1990, you could live spend like 2 nights in a really nice hotel for $500 probably.
Yeah, easy. Look, and then she gets all the way to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and she's arguing with the airline to get on a flight. Like, lady, you live in Chicago. Rent a car and drive.
It's a 10-hour drive by the Jeep. Even if you were like, okay, maybe 12 if you stop and eat, which you probably wouldn't do. But it's like, you know, if she just got off the plane and immediately rented a car, she's back in Chicago in time to eat some of that sweet mac and cheese.
My God, the mac and cheese.
No problem.
Anyway, I mean, ultimately, it's probably for the best that she didn't get home in time because she probably would have had her scalp burnt by a blowtorch.
Yeah, Maybe she walked in that house at the wrong time. She might have never walked out of it. So,
yeah. But hey, shout out to John Candy, RIP. He gives her a ride and she gets to the house Christmas morning, literally 60 seconds before the rest of the family.
Yeah. Well worth it. All of that pain and suffering and anxiety of travel just to arrive 60 seconds sooner.
That would have broke me. She hasn't slept in days, probably hasn't eaten anything but 1990 airplane food, which I don't even put crackers and then like a lifesaver. And then shared a van with John Candy and his polka band for 10 hours just so that she could beat the rest of the family back by 1 minute. They flew first class all the way here too.
Yeah. But it was worth that one extra minute she got there. It was a magical moment. She got to hug Kevin. The music swelled. John Williams. Yeah, that's what you get.
It was a tearjerker.
One thing I want to go back on real quick that before we talk about whether this ruined our childhood is the sequence we were just talking about a minute ago when Kevin was in the neighbor's house. He was almost getting his finger bit off. Creepy old man comes and saves him. Then the next time we see Kevin, he wakes up in his house, which has been completely cleaned. Like, what happened in between? Like, did the creepy old man come over to Kevin's house, help him clean up? Was the creepy old man like, all right, cops are showing up. This ain't a good look for me. I'm going to go. Like, what happened there?
Merry Christmas. Well, I haven't called my son in years. Could you help me call him? Yeah, he already had a bad rep in the neighborhood. He didn't want to add spending the night with a little kid to that reputation. So he probably just like, all right, you're good. You dust yourself off. You're good. You can clean up the rest of that stuff, right? I'm not gonna touch that boat. So he just was in and out. He has his own life to worry about.
Yeah, he's letting Kevin deal with his own problems. Nature take its course. It's like the Werner Herzog moment of the movie.
Uh-oh.
I haven't called my son in years. The last time we spoke, it was coincidentally also Christmas morning. We had to fight. I told him to go away. And now I frequent the church where my granddaughter sings alone with the rest of her choir. My son nowhere to be found.
2 predators sneak into an empty nest looking for an easy lunch ticket. But little do they know that the predators are soon to become the prey.
Kevin,
like, it is a nature show.
The only reason why I knew that you were in this house ready to get your fingers bitten off is because I am the future you, Kevin. I am you from the future. It's the bloody end.
Things don't turn out great for us. All right, Devin, did Home Alone ruin your childhood?
Not at all, bro. I wanted to take some more time to think about it, but no, it's a classic. It's a standard at this point, man. It has everything: Christmas stuff, kids stuff. It has gore. It's very gory. It's good.
Just the right amount of violence for a child to really, really enjoy.
Sweet spot,
Yeah, this did not ruin my childhood either. I really liked it. Not every kids movie holds up like this upon reviewing as an adult, and this one did it with flying colors. I would rewatch this like in the near future, with one of my nieces and nephews, properly social distanced, or just by myself, which is the more likely scenario. But either way, like, yeah, Home Alone, it's good stuff.
Good stuff. Check it out if you haven't.
All right, that is our episode, folks. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. We will be back soon with another episode. And until then, if any people break into your house, show no mercy. The law can't touch you. That's, I guess, what the message of this film is.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.